All right, what's going on, ladies, gentlemen, whoever you are? Welcome. It's your host, Musa on Mars. Today was a big day in the football world for some. That is. Um, in case some of you guys didn't know, today was the day that the Washington football team decided to finally reveal their team's name after 2 years of having the fans wait. Now, to give you guys some context, I am a Washington football team fan, and it's it's been a hell of a ride. It's not easy being a fan of this team. This team is one of the most frustrating teams in the NFL. If you've been following, just like casually, been following some of the things that this team have done in the past 20 to 25 years, and I mean, we haven't been relevant since like the early 90s, since like 91, I think was the last time we made like a competitive playoff push, or we're even taken seriously like a playoff team. But since then, this team has been pretty much garbage. It's just dog shit. That's what this team is. And I was born in '99, so I didn't grow up seeing the glory days. My whole life I was a fan of the formerly known as the Washington Redskins, and being a fan of this team, there weren't any really high points ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was, I believe, 7 years old. I was 7 years old when I made the official decision that I was gonna have the then known Redskins as my favorite football team. Now, when I made this decision, it wasn't based on it wasn't based on it wasn't based on any merits that I would use today. I didn't use a criteria that I will hold valid today. If I was to pick a team now, or even when I was 13, 12, when I really, really started getting into football, when I really became like a fanatic, not just a casual viewer, like I was at the age of 7, that's when I would say by around that time, my decision making as far as choosing teams and looking at how different teams are doing in the league, if I had to choose again, I can definitely say I would have chose differently, because the reason I chose the Washington football team as my favorite team when I was 7 years old back in '06 was because I thought that their emblem was an African American originally. Now, you guys have to understand a little bit of background about me. I wasn't born in this country. I came to this country around at the age of 5. Now, when I came here at the age of 5, only 2 years had went by before I started getting familiar with American football. You know, I grew up back. I'm not gonna say which country I grew up in, but I'm from Africa. I'm from a country in Africa, on the west coast. And growing up back there, the primary sport that we focused on was, as you guys know, soccer, but we called it football. So, nevertheless, once I started getting into American football, I realized that, wow, this sport or this game that I'm watching, even though I've never seen it, I'm pretty sure this is how most of us become fans of the game. We're like, I don't know what I'm watching right now, but this is fucking interesting. I got to get more of this. And when I decided to choose the Washington Redskins as my favorite football team, keep in mind, a sport that I don't know shit about, I decided to choose these guys as my favorite team because I thought I thought their logo, was an African American. And my cousin, he was the one who really got me into football. He explained to me that, oh, no, 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 their mascot, their logo. I don't know why I keep saying mascot. They don't have a mascot. It would be very offensive if they did. Like, I don't think they can have a Native American coming out every Sunday doing battle chants or whatever offensive shit they used to do back in the day, or the axe chop. It just wasn't happening. So, nevertheless, when I decided to, wow, I lost my train of thought. It's cool. Let me just stop. What was I talking about? We just cut and edit this shit. Um, hmm. So, when I decided When my cousin told me that, oh no, this team is not being this team's emblem is not an African American, it's a Native American. I was around the first time I ever heard that term. I wasn't familiar with it. Again, I was 7. And my cousin explained to me, give me like a brief rundown for a 7-year-old, kept it pretty PG of who the Native Americans are, what their roles were in history, how they came about. And he couldn't really tell me why this particular football team from Washington, D.C. was representing them, let alone calling them the Redskins. You know what I mean? But I was like, well, at least there's a team in the NFL that's representing minorities, I'm like, there's a team in the NFL. I mean, we have teams named after animals. We have teams that are named after forms of transportations. We have teams named after fiction, after fantasies and fictional characters. So it was very eye-opening and alluring to me as a young child to see a team that they decided to name themselves after a minority, even though in hindsight we know now that that name was a derogatory term. So now I'm 7 years old. Now the Washington Redskins are my favorite team. So from the age of 7 until now, every time somebody's asked me, what's your favorite football team? I've had to say Redskins. Well, until recently when they got rid of the name and I was like, football team. And everybody just looks at me and everybody just asks, you know your football team sucks when you go to say it. When somebody asks you what's your favorite team, you go to speak and they just look at you and they just ask why? Really? Are you from DC? What did you DC, the DC area? Washington? Really? And I'm like, yeah, I know. And then I just go into a little spiel how I just did about why they're my favorite team. But nevertheless, after all these years of supporting this franchise, buying jerseys, going to games, supporting them with no one else that I know to this day, I've never met another Washington fan, another person that's a fan of the football team. Well, the Commanders now. This team makes me sick. The only franchise with 3 different names, but whatever. So I've gotten to the point where I'm sick of it. I don't blame the players. I do not hold the players accountable. Because around the time when I first started becoming a fan, if it wasn't for guys like Sean Taylor, if it wasn't for guys like Jason Campbell, even though he wasn't that good, Donovan McNabb when we had him, RG3, Jordan Reed, Satana Moss, Randall L. Am I missing anybody? Now, I'm just naming guys that I actually grew up watching. I know there are a lot more greats for that team, but I'm talking about guys that I grew up watching that influenced me to be like, yeah, we may suck, but hey, look at this guy. Hey, we got him. We may not be a good franchise, but hey, check this guy out. So that's why I would never hold the players, because they were the only bright spot in that organization we could really look to. You know what I mean? And as unfortunate as that may sound, that's just the reality of the situation. So, here we are, after all these years. And after doing my due diligence, Jesus Christ, that was some shit Shannon Sharp would do. Alright, but after I did my due diligence and did some research, I found out some things that were just unsettling, to say the least. And I'm talking about in terms of the owner and management and the whole corporate side of the organization. I don't know what goes on in the front office in Washington, but it seems like there's a lot of mismanagement going on. Nah, forget seems. There's mismanagement going on in that organization. And it starts at the top. And this is something that's been well documented for decades. Everyone knows. Anybody who pays attention to football, everyone knows that this organization is very disorganized. And not only that, but our management don't give a fuck about the players. They don't care about no one on the staff. Hell, I don't think the managers care about other managers. I will never forget the day, right? I can't remember. I think it was like the 2018 or 19 season, and they asked our GM, and this was I always forget this dude's name because I don't give a fuck about him. Fuck him. But he was our GM at the time. We got rid of this jackass. Bruce Allen, this piece of shit, the guy who got in trouble with John Gruden for sending explicit emails. I mean, we'll get into that. I'll never forget when he came into the press conference. Now, this is around the time, this was the season I think we only won like 3 games. 3 or 4 games maybe. We had like the top 10 pick in the draft. Our organization was shitty that year. And we didn't really have nothing to look forward to in the future. And they called, they had a press conference and they asked Bruce Allen, what's the culture like in the locker room? With a straight face, he goes, the culture is actually pretty damn great. What culture, sir? What culture, sir? We have no culture. This team is So, imagine being a fan of an organization that's so dysfunctional that the people who get paid millions of dollars, who receive money that most of you and I would never even sniff, they're making money that we don't even see in TV shows. That's how much money they're making. These guys are billionaires, multi-millionaires, making so much money. And he comes on a podium and he knows less about the culture of a football team than some broke kid who lives in, I'm not going to say where I live, but who lives in a different state. A different state. Is in college. A broke college kid who lives in a different state knows more about the culture of that team than that piece of shit Bruce Allen. That's why he's fired. This team always raised my blood pressure. I tried to start this video off calm, so that would be the tone of the video. But how can you stay calm when you care about something and you invest into something, and the people who are responsible, who are getting paid millions, billions to take care of it, they're not even doing their due diligence. They're not even trying. People, they're not even trying. So today we've come here. I've called a meeting for all the football fans around the world who has been supporting an organization for the better part of your life. If you're sick and tired of supporting that team, if you're sick and tired of seeing your team being used as memes, you know how many memes they got for us? When you type in my team's name on the internet, memes will pop up before the team logo. If you're sick and tired of this shit, I think it's time we call a fan union. They got a player union. We need to get a fan union. If an organization that we're supporting, we're paying millions of dollars, we're going to work. There are some people who work their ass off just to go to one game in a 10-year span just to see their favorite team. You know, I've been alive, I'm not going to say my age, but I've been alive for a decent amount of time now. You know how many times I went to see my favorite team play? Twice! Twice! You know how many times I wish I could have gone? Every fucking game, even when we sucked. But that's not how the world works. These pieces of shit, they don't understand that. They don't know what the everyday person has to go through. Our favorite team lose a game, we got to come back to our shitty jobs and our crappy life. They get to go to their $1 million apartments or houses, their mistresses, their wives, their side hoes, all in the same fucking room, ready to fuck. Meanwhile, some kid is crying at home because his team didn't cover the spread. And now his dad is probably not going to talk to him for the rest of the day because whenever his team loses, the family loses. It's time we call a fan union. If your favorite team or the team you support doesn't support you back by doing transactions and making decisions that show that they actually care about winning and bettering your franchise, fuck them. You are a free agent. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the Players Union. In the Players Union, we take every request, we look into it. Once you're approved, you take down your top 5 teams. The reason you have your top 5 teams that you would want to trade off to. And then at the end of the day, once you come down to your final team that you chose, that's your new favorite team. And nobody can say shit because you're in the Players Union. Because for some reason, there's this whole notion or culture that goes around that once you pick a favorite team, you can't change them. You're stuck with that team for life. Really? Why is that, though? Why is it that I have to be the loyal one and support a team for life when a team can't even support their own fucking self for 2 seasons? This team is irrelevant. They changed their name to the Commanders. Well, today I'm going to command that I choose a new team. So, in order to qualify for the Players Union, this is what you got to do. You have to have been a fan of a particular franchise for at least a decade, and you need 3 credible sources that you're not related to through blood. It could be friends, it could be coworkers, be some dudes at a bar that some dudes you met at a bar that you guys always, some dude you met at a bar that you always go to. If you support a team for at least 10 years, that's the first way to get in. Or if your team hasn't been relevant, and I mean that, and when I say relevant, I mean your team hasn't been a serious playoff team. And I don't mean just making a playoff, but I mean making the playoff and actually having, if your team hasn't made the playoff, the second criteria is if your team hasn't made the playoffs in over 20 years. If your team hasn't made the playoffs in your entire life, in 20 years or your entire life, welcome to the club. You have the right to join. You have the right to take that team and throw them out the window. You have the right to do that. So, the reason I call you guys here today is that I am going to be the first one to get this thing rolling, to get the ball rolling. I've made a list. I think I gave my reasons, which are more than suffice as to why I'm in the Players Union. The Fans Union. I've narrowed it down to my 5 teams that I will consider leaving the Washington Commanders for. And here they are. And this is no particular order. I'm going to say the team, then I'm going to give my reason. Number 1, New Orleans Saints. Now, you Saints fans out there, calm down, relax, start breathing. Start breathing, man. You just caught your wife cheating. Listen. The reason I have the New Orleans Saints on this list, I have a few reasons. Number 1, Drew Brees. Again, I'm a 2000s kid. I grew up in the 2000s. I grew up watching Drew Brees. He made watching the Saints play football extremely entertaining. To see somebody go to a franchise that really wasn't known for winning and to turn that franchise around and to make that program into what it is today, it was very impressive. And not only that, but also with the help and the guidance of Sean Payton, even though I know now he's left the team. But seeing that organization go from what they used to be, which is relatively unsuccessful, unknown, bottom tier team, to being one of the best, one of the more elite teams, says a lot about their organization. It shows that they have people in their front offices who care about winning, who care about football. It shows. It's not easy to win a championship, let alone maintain a level of excellence, a level of superiority over your competition for the better part of a decade, going to 2. So, excuse me, the reason I would have the Saints up there was because after seeing what they did with Drew Brees and Sean Payton and the rest of those guys, now that the Saints are coming back to another rebuilding season, it looks like another rebuilding phase, there's no doubt in my mind they're a quarterback. Actually, at the way they're constructed right now, they're actually a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. Like, that's how good this organization is. And it's not about the players. It's not just about the players. It's about the front office. The front office did their job to make sure that Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and the rest of the team, year in and year out, had complementary pieces to make this team successful. That's a front office that's reliable. That's a front office you can trust on. You can trust on. That's a front office you can count on. I don't want my team to win every year. I take that back. I do want my team to win every year. I don't mind if my team doesn't win every year. That's okay. But I do want my team to at least be competitive. Or even if the years they're not competitive, I want them to be making moves to trying to get in that direction of being competitive. And the New Orleans Saints, they've done that for the better part of 2 decades now. Excellent organization. And on top of that, their color scheme and their uniform. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Now, their logo, some people say they don't like it. Me personally, I love that Saints logo, you know? It looks nice to me, just a cool looking logo. And I also like Saints Row, if that helps. And that logo looks fucking badass. So you take that shit, you black and brown, and kind of like brown goldish, beautiful color scheme. In their color rush uniform with the all white and the no, that team top to bottom, well done organization. Then their stadium. I'm gonna just say the name of their stadium. Even the non-football fans out there be like, I didn't even know this company made stadiums. The Mercedes-Benz Superdome. I'm going to buy you one more game. The Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Not Superhead. Superdome. This shit it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Alright. Now, I'm a sucker for football fields. I'm a sucker for arenas and stadiums. So when I talk about these things, I get emotional. So, excuse me. That field is beautiful. Excuse me. And of course, location, New Orleans. Come on. My second favorite artist, not rapper, artist of all time is from New Orleans. I've never been there. I know Cash Nasty's from there, one of my favorite YouTubers. And he does a lot of videos in that area. New Orleans? Oh shit, no, he's not. Is he from New Orleans? I know he's in Louisiana. Alright, I know Cash Nasty's in Louisiana. I know if he's in New Orleans. Let me not misconstrue the facts. I know he's somewhere down there in New Orleans, in Louisiana, and that state is amazing. Not too cold, not too hot. It gets cold, but not bitter cold like how it does in the north. I'm not gonna give away my location. Fucking freaks out there. And even though they got wildlife, it's not nothing that I can't handle with a gun. You know, and I mean like not like I don't need a big hunting rifle. I could get a pistol, so I can handle the wildlife that's out there. So overall, the New Orleans Saints looks like a very good destination for me to choose to be my next team. And people can accuse me of bandwagoning, so I have that. And the final thing that I'll say about the New Orleans Saints is that when I was a kid, the first ever organizational football team I ever played for, our team was called the Saints. So, there's a little bit of history right there. Let's go to the next team. Up next, drum roll please, the New England Patriots. Now, I have a Pretty short answer. Two words. Short answer, 2 words as to why I would choose the Patriots as my new team to support. Tom Brady. Do I need to say anything else? You know what? For the guys out there, for the people out there who don't watch football, let me break it down. Came out when I was 5. Brady started back in 99, right? I was born in 99. When I came to this country and I watched what Brady did against Peyton Manning. Now, when I came here in 05, the notion was Peyton Manning was the most talented quarterback anybody had ever seen. He was the best quarterback. He was going to be better than Joe Montana, and deservingly so. Peyton Manning could throw a football to a fly in traffic. That don't even make sense. I might have to cut that out. But Peyton Manning could throw a football to anybody. Peyton Manning could throw a football to anybody. Oh my God. If you needed the ball right there, bro. If you needed the ball right there, he could get it there. It didn't matter who was running, who was covered, who was on him. Oh, that son of a bitch. That big forehead son of a bitch. Oh, God bless him. Oh, some of the passes he used to make against Brady. Oh, when I tell you, my asshole couldn't have been tighter. All those games came down to the wire. I'll never forget when they beat the Patriots. I think that was the 07 NFC Championship game when he finally got over the hump to beat Brady to go to the Super Bowl. That was the first time that was the first time I ever was watching a game where I was rooting for Tom Brady. He lost, and I was like, okay. This was the guy that I had to tell everybody who would listen. No, guys, Tom Brady's better. Tom Brady's better. Trust me, he's better. Just give him a chance. No, listen, guys, he's always beating him. His team is always good. He just won the Super Bowl. He's probably going to do it again. Trust me, Tom Brady's better. And no one believed me. No one would listen to me. No one. Keep in mind, I'm 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going on. Years and years, I'm still pushing this narrative until it became popular. Brady's better. Manning's more talented. But we all know, talent can only get you so far. If the best players were the most talented ones, then guys like Glenn Bias would still be playing today. Shaq would have probably been the best basketball player of all time if talent was all that mattered. Shaq would have been the best basketball player of all time. If not him, then either Kareem. If not him, then Wilt. If skills and talent was all that mattered, was all you needed to win and be successful, and those guys would have been the best. But that's only half the battle. And Brady, he wasn't the quickest. He didn't have the best arm. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I could throw a football better than Tom Brady could. Hold on, let me rephrase that. I know, because I've done it. I know that I could throw a football further than Tom Brady could in his first 3 years in the league. He wasn't throwing that many deep passes. They had him on lockdown. Belichick had him on lockdown. But it's not about that. It's not about arm strength for talent. But now, obviously, I know I couldn't throw further than Brady. Even if I was in fucking space and the ball never touches the ground. Like, I can't throw further than Brady. I know that. I mean, you know what I mean? But to see somebody, it was the first time I ever seen somebody not be as talented as their peers, but dominate them. It was so invigorating. It was so influential to me. I know that's part of the reason why I have the notion or the mentality. And a lot of people have the mentality that if you work hard enough for something, you can do it. You don't have to have the natural gifts. You may not be born with the talent, but if you put in the work and you work hard at something, not only can you be good at it, but you could be the best to ever done it, just on hard work and determination. And I shouldn't say just on, because that's the most difficult part, is to put in the work, to be determined. But watching Brady in New England, oh my God. And now that he's gone, it's the perfect opportunity. The organization is a great organization. Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, these guys, they care about winning football. Belichick doesn't even get close to his players. Not because he doesn't want to. I'm pretty sure he likes these. I'm pretty sure he loves these guys. These guys are putting their livelihood on the line. These guys are taking pay cuts. These guys are taking less money to play a sport that they're not guaranteed to play the next game. So that they can acquire more talents to win. That is an organization that I want to root for. That is an organization that I can support. People making this necessary sacrifice in order to win. That's what you would call a pretty damn good culture. But the next reason I would choose them, well, I mean, this isn't, it adds to the reason. I love their color scheme. That red, white, and blue with the star. Oh my God, that Patriot logo? Yes, sir. One of the best logos in the league, hands down. Beautiful logo. Love the logo. And I like how the Patriot, he looks so stoic. Oh, he looks stoic. He looks like he's ready for anything. Like what? Yeah, I'm in war, so. Do I look nervous to you? It's nothing. It's what I do. And that red, white, and blue. You know, you can do so much with that. And that alternative jersey, when they have the white and the red and the blue stripes. Oh, that's joint is sexy. The only thing I don't like about their alternative throwback jerseys is that they have this, the Patriot guy in the three-point stance getting ready to snap a football. Their old logo was fucking, it was stupid. I don't know why they had a Patriot snapping a football. It didn't even look right. It's like, why would you get dressed up in like, it'll be like, you know what I mean? It'll be like nowadays, right? If the Army and Navy teams, instead of having the Army and Navy logo on it, they would have like a soldier throwing a pass or a fucking Navy SEAL hitting the Heisman on a fucking porpoise or something. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not what they do. That is just your team name. Patriots don't play football. Looks stupid on your helmet. And you put on your helmet? Jesus Christ. God bless them. No wonder why they didn't win shit until they changed that. Oh my God. That was horrific. But, I mean, then we got the area too. And to be honest, the New England area, because it's an entire subsection of the northeastern part of America. It's not one particular state, but we all know that it's in Foxborough, and Boston is like right there, and they're like the #1 fan base. They're like the most rampant fan base that claims the New England Patriots. And I know Boston is racist, but the thing about me is I'm one of those black guys that I actually find racism very funny. Not in a good way. I mean, alright, I don't know how you can find something funny in a bad way, right? Like dark humor, whatever. But when I say I find it funny, it's not like I'm saying that I enjoy the idea of the racist jokes. The thing that I find funny about racist jokes or people who are racist in general is the fact that that's their mindset. Is that their mentality is that primitive. Like, I consider a racist mindset to be a primitive mindset. To judge somebody on their skin color alone is so primitive to me that it's almost caveman-like. So when I hear somebody speaking with that mentality, or making jokes about that, but there's not jokes, it's not like a joke to them, they're trying to insult or offend another group, I find it extremely funny. It's almost like listening to a caveman trying to speak English. I swear to God, it's so funny. A racist can never make me mad. But I would not want to live in that area, though. So that's one thing that's holding them back. But you can't hold an organization for what the fans do, you know? So, next we got the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, some of you guys are a little surprised because the Chargers haven't won shit. And I'm just going to tell you guys right now, right? There's one man, again, who's the reason why I would choose the Chargers as an organization to support. LT. LaDainian Tomlinson. When I tell you, oh my God, I don't need to say anything. The man's reputation precedes him, alright? I mean, everything about LT was cool. Everything. I mean, there was anything about LT that I could really point at to say like, yeah, but you know what I mean? Everything about this dude was awesome. He was fast, quick, agile, nimble, strong, aggressive, a leader, but reserved at the same time and humble. You don't see a lot of running backs like that in the league, you know? And seeing him put his body on the line the way he did for his team, just seeing him never win, ever, and seeing him come close so many times, I was just like, you know what? I would like to see this team win one day, you know? And considering that their organization hasn't won a championship yet, but they're always competitive, it shows that they're on the front steps. They're knocking at the door. They're close. And now they got this kid, Justin Herbert, Aaron Eckler. They're looking pretty good right now. They're looking like a damn good organization right now. Mike Williams. But I'm not choosing them. I wouldn't want to switch. I'm not switching over to them because of the talents they acquired over the last few seasons. No. No. Don't get it confused. It's about LT, baby. I never forget the great ones. This man had such an impact on me. He had me believing that I could be a running back. Me. But anyway, the next thing, the next category as to why I would want to support this team is Los Angeles. Even before when they were in San Diego. Really? Oh my God, really? I'm San Diego and Los Angeles, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't even need to get into, I don't need to describe what these places look like. I don't need to describe the allure with these places. I'm gonna just say their names and that's it. Next, let's talk about the logo, the emblem, and their color scheme. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Yellow, blue, white? And it's like that, oh, that thunderbolt. It looks so nice, and I like how they redefined their uniform, their new uniform recently when they put the thunderbolts on their shoulders and on their pants. Dude, that looks so nice. I remember back when every time I used to play Madden as a kid, and I would get tired of playing with my team, and I would like play with another team. I would pick like the Charge because I want to run LT. I will always change their jerseys around to like their alternative jerseys and like switch it up a little bit to make it look like how their current uniform is, like how their current uniform is constructed with their sky blue and the white pants or yellow pants. I used to always do that. I used to always go back and go to their alternative sky blue jersey and change to their alternative yellow pants and just have it like that because I'm like, they have so many nice different colors and jerseys that you can really mix and match and they'll still look dope. And I just think that it's cool that after all these years, they decide, you know what, hey, fuck it, we're just going to make this our color scheme. It's like the team realized, holy shit, we have like one of the best color schemes and logo. Like, that's very rare that you have the damn good color scheme and a damn good logo. And you're like, fuck it, let's put it together. And it just looks amazing. So, I would love to support the Chargers. Yeah, there's not really anything else I could think of that would deter me from wanting to support that team. Like, yeah, great city, great organization. They just haven't won anything, and it's not easy. So I don't hold that against them. Up next, we got the Chiefs. I know I'm gonna sound like a bandwagon, but actually, I have to be honest. I am on this pick. Because the primary reasons why I would want to support the Chiefs is because of Patrick Mahomes. You can take that how you like. I mean, you see him play, right? It's not just me. You know what I mean? All right. I'm not the type to try to overrate or hype up a player beyond what they actually are. But it's not just the passes he makes, it's the decisions that he's make. Now, when I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes, right, I'm talking about him prior to the 2021 to 2022 season, which was the season that just went by. And the reason I'm excluding this season is because I've been wanting to switch over and change and thinking about supporting this team since they drafted Mahomes, and I seen him play a snap. The first game I seen Mahomes start, I was like, even back in preseason, I was like, holy shit. And then the first game he started, I was like, what am I watching right? Is this Madden? You know what I like? So now, like, and the reason I would exclude the 2021-2022 season is because this was the first season that this was the first season that went by that I can honestly say I seen him have a significant drop off. And like I said, it's not just skill and it's not just talent, because he could still throw the ball as far as ever. I'm pretty sure he could throw further now than he could in his rookie season. He can still throw the ball as accurate as ever. And he has a ring under his belt, and he's been to the Super Bowl twice, and he has two NFC championships under his belt, and he's only 26. So, excuse me. So, when you're that young and you're that successful and you're that talented, it's like, if you're rooting against the person, it's like at that point you're literally just hating. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna do that. And they're in Arrowhead. They're in Kansas City. So they're in Kansas City, Kansas. I know it's in Missouri, but I'm not familiar with that area. However, I am familiar with the climate, and I'm a big guy about climate because I grew up in a very cold city. If I was to support a team, I wouldn't want to support a team that's in a cold area, because I wouldn't want to go to any of their games. I wouldn't want to be there, support them when the seasons actually matter in January or December. So I don't know. I don't really have any problem with the geographical location of where the Chiefs play. And that stadium too is beautiful. I mean, that stadium is iconic. I don't need to say anything about Arrowhead. It's Arrowhead. Do I really? Come on, it's Arrowhead. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Toss Power Trap, right? You know what I mean? What's the guy's name? Hank. I hate when I forget important people's names, and it only happens during these videos. I would never otherwise forget this dude's name, but I forget his name because I'm shooting a video. But it's Hank Thurman. I hate when I forget people's names, but I don't know. But yeah, that entire team, the entire organization is historic. The geographical location is ideal for me. Oh, and their colors. Are you kidding me? That red and white. I'm wearing red. I mean, red isn't my favorite color, but red is my second favorite color. My favorite color, don't worry about that. But red is my favorite color, is my second favorite color, and to complement it with that white and that logo with the arrow, with the head of the arrowhead. Fuck am I talking about? I don't know. It's pretty flawless how it all comes in together. They chose a name that's not offensive, that still pays homage to the people that the name inspires from. Their emblem is not offensive. The only thing that I could see people kind of pointing to being offensive is their mascot. I mean, no, their mascot is a coyote or something like that. But in the game, sometimes they have like this Native American dude come out with like a stick. I don't know. I think they stopped doing that shit. I'm not sure, but other than that, besides people having a problem with cultural appropriation, trying to appropriate the Native American culture, I mean, I really don't have no problem. Can't see any complaints as to why people have any problem with this team, and neither do I. So, and like I said, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, like I said, I grew up watching Brady. I love seeing people who are successful because they put in the work. And if this year, right, if the Washington Commanders was fucking talented, and this year was the first year that I would have thought about changing teams, then the Chiefs wouldn't have made this list. Because the year that Patrick Mahomes just had, where I've seen his decision making go down drastically. Like I said, he's still as talented as ever, but it's the way he plays now. I could tell he plays with a little too much confidence, and he takes way too many unnecessary risks. So he's starting to become the issue as to why his team is losing, rather than being the reason why they would win in the past. And there was never a season that I could say that about Brady. So yeah, Mahomes is gonna have to work on it. And finally, we have the Arizona Cardinals. I'm just gonna keep this one short. Larry Legend, always been a huge influence on me when I was a kid. When I actually got into organized sports, even though I wanted to be a running back, I actually played wide receiver, and that was the position I was actually the best at, was wide receiver. And I remember just watching Larry Fitzgerald videos, watching Larry Fitzgerald highlights, watching tape, watching his preparation, and also the way he carried himself, Seeing a wide receiver who was that talented and not a diva, oh my God. Oh my God, when I say it was a breath of fresh air, I was like, wait a minute, so it's possible to be successful and talented as a wide receiver and also have a different level of class. have a different way of doing things and approaching the game. And not only did he do that, but he was way more successful than so many other receivers were, even though he never won a ring. And I would love to support that organization to see them earn that ring for Larry Legend. And as far as the geographical location of Glendale, Arizona, I wouldn't mind. I'm from a very hot country, so I do not mind being in a hot climate. I do know that Arizona was the last state to recognize Martin Luther King Day. So, I don't know about the political climate over there to say. However, if there are people over there who are bigots and they still hold that sentiment to the people who didn't want to pass the Martin Luther King legislation, then you could take this team right off of the list. Bottom line. I would never support a team that doesn't support activism. It doesn't have to be African American. It could be anybody who's trying to get their rights. When something's wrong and people are being oppressed, they don't have to look like you in order for you to be like, okay, let me help, or what can I do to support them? That's not what this video is about, but that's a major thing for me. I would never support a team that does that, which is a major reason why I'm actually about to leave. Which is a major reason why I'm about to leave the Washington Commanders. Fuck this team, dog. I'm tired of Washington. I'm done. It's the reason I'm leaving Washington. Oh my god, it fucking hurts to even say the name. The Commanders. Anyway, now I gave you guys my top 5 teams, right? And it's really tough. It's really tough, I'm not gonna lie. And it's coming down to, I'm gonna be honest, I know the team that I picked now, but back when I was like choosing between the 5, it took forever. Like, I almost didn't do the video. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to like go a whole nother season watching football, maybe more seasons before I can choose, because it's really tough. But I've gotten to the point where, and when the Washington, when they released their new uniforms, I was like, okay, it's time for a new team. The name was the name was the first bullet, right, to the chest. The uniform was the unnecessary standing over a dead body and just shooting me in the face, even though I'm already dead. That's how bad. That's what the uniforms were for me. So the team that I am switching to as the first move, the first transaction in the fan union club, I, Musa, on Mars, am now a fan of the Washington Commanders. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not switching teams. Yeah, I'm staying with them. I don't like this organization. I don't like our uniform. I don't even like our name. I don't like anything about this team except for the players. Literally, I only like the players. That's all I like. And even then, that's hasty, because I remember the Cowboys game where we were literally throwing punches and fighting each other on the sideline. So, but the reason I'm not changing now is because I've been supporting this team my whole life, and I feel like if we never win, then while I'm alive, then it wasn't meant to be. But if they win while I'm alive, then at least I was here. At least I stayed through the times when I literally didn't feel anything for this team. I literally do not want to be a fan of this team, but my desire to stake with it and see this team win is greater. I'm not going to sacrifice my character because the team that I support has no character. So with that being said, guys, let me know. What's your favorite team? And what are some teams that you would consider if you were in the fan union? You would consider trading, and your reason why. Give me your top 5 teams, or your or the team you would trade off for in the comments. And until next time, guys, try to be safe out there. Support your favorite team. Don't do nothing crazy. Be safe. It's your boy Musa on Mars, and I'm heading back to my home planet.